friends, this is Laura with Potpourri Life and my husband David. He doesn't speak.
Sorry.
So we've been very busy this summer and I'm not going to bore you with the details, but what I wanted to share with you is every 6 months or so we go through our first aid kits. And the reason we do it is we want to make sure that it's up to date for our particular needs. Now my husband and I both have the same type of first aid bags. I'm going to show you. These are new for us. This is mine. It's pink and pretty. And his is blue and beautiful. So,
but they're identical.
But they're right. They're identical.
Other than color.
Be careful, you just knocked the camera. He's my helper.
I'm sorry.
He's all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go over what we keep in our first aid box, bag, whatever you want to call it. And one of the things is this is a little bit smaller than what I had before.
Yeah, but you added a duffel bag.
Yeah.
In the car for blankets and such.
Right. So what I had before was like a little bit bigger duffel bag, and I had all this in there, and I had towels and other extra things, and I don't have that bag in here right now. But basically the duffel bag are the extra things. Like I like to make sure there's like 1 or 2 towels, like maybe a bath towel and a couple hand towels, maybe a couple washcloths, whatever works for whomever. In it we have a variety of other things out there. We have like sweaters, or a something to keep us warm if we're out and about and all of a sudden we get a chill. Because if there's an emergency, you want to be able to do that. Or if you're out visiting and all of a sudden the temperatures change overnight, that can happen.
Yeah, we each have a jacket in there.
Yeah. And we each have a jacket in each vehicle. So I have 2, one for me and one for him in my car as well as for his car. We have a change of clothes. Those are all in the duffel bag. And those are things that we've just done for a long time since we've been married, pretty much.
I guess.
He guesses.
Yes.
We've done it. And that all started because when we got married, we actually went camping, and so we had to have all this stuff. So it was just something that I wanted to keep going with, and you did too. You always had a first aid kit in your truck, car, whatever vehicle you were driving at the time. So anyway, what I want to do is I don't really want to go on to what we have in the duffel bag, which, like I said, clothing, just emergency stuff, like something that you might not wear every day, but it's stuff that you're comfortable wearing. And as we get older, we could change in our size. So we want to make sure we have the right size jeans in there. So, or the right size jacket, whatever the case may be. And that's why we do it every 3 months. Where are we in our fitness? Where are we in the weather and so forth? But in my first aid bag, as well as I need speech therapy today. Anyways, we're going to go through what we have in our first aid bag. So we have a top zipper, and I'm going to move the camera in just a minute so you can see better. And let's see if I can bring this down. There we go. And if that made a lot of noise, I'm really sorry. So in the top, I have a container. This I just added today. And these are just things, this is just a little bit of a rag that, you know, if you need to, blah, 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 or whatever. I just put it there. I had it, so I just stuck it in this extra space. These here are finger covers, so if you get cut, and I know I have more than I need. Some people prefer these rubber ones. They're not rubber. They're easy to put on. And then these are kind of cool. I like these because they are cotton. So I have options here. And this one here is when you unroll it, you can cut it in half so you get 2 out of them. I'm not going to unroll it because I'm picky. And then these here are small. These are like strings that you can, say your shoes have come undone. You can use this as a temporary shoelace. But also, if you have something like you're bleeding somewhere and you need to do a small tourniquet, you've got that for that as well. Or if you need to tie something. So I added these in. Excuse me, I have to go find my bag. And so that's what's in this little piece of container right now. Here, can you put that back in? I'll keep him working. So what else we have in here is I have a container with some herbal medications that we like, and these are things that I have purchased. I do have things that I make myself, but when you're around other people, they get kind of nervous on the things that we make from scratch. One of the important things that I believe we should always have on us are whistles. So I got a couple of packs here. I have another one that I can wear. And you want, for those who don't know, you want to whistle when you're out. If you go off the road or something, always have a whistle so you can make noise, because if you're somewhere where you can't get to, you want people to be able to hear you. It's much easier for you to blow a whistle than it is to be screaming and your throat gets sore. So, and I also have a tick remover stick in here. This here is to purify water. So if you have a container and it has water and you had to go to the river or something, that will clarify it. So I have some other first aid things that I like. It's the boron products and stuff. So I'm gonna move right along here. This here is an aqua water thing. Can you explain that?
Nope.
Okay. This.
It's just like a straw.
Yes. Go ahead.
You can just put it into either a bucket that you've gotten water out of a brook or something, and you suck water through it. And then...
Because if you're lost somewhere, I'm going to change this a little bit so you can see us tucking. So when you see your car goes off the road and you can't get up that hill, or say you go off the road when the ice and stuff and you're breaking away water, you still want to be able to have
drinking water.
You want drinking water. All right, so some other things that we have. These are stuff, this here is some, they're surgical gloves. They're actually like the blue gloves you might see on the doctors, but these actually are sterile, so I just keep them in here. Let's see. In here, yes, I have a knife and I have a paracord. David, explain why we have this. He's the one he actually put the paracord around here, because when you're out and about, you need to be able to cut something out, or you explain it.
And you can use the cord to tie something, maybe even something to the antenna, so people will notice you're off the road or anything. You just use it to tie something.
Okay, so this is just kind of an emergency thing, and if you need to get into something, you've got this. I'm not even explaining that very well, but he might.
These are Mora knives too. They're really nice knives, and relatively cheap compared to a lot of, high-end knives or whatever. But they're really good. Nice steel on them, and they'll last a long time. They're not fully tanged or anything, but they're a really good knife for the money.
And if you're out there for a little longer than you want to, and nobody wants to, and I have no intention of doing that, but if you need to, say you have to hunt your own food, you need something dug on it. I'm not hunting food today. Okay. The other thing is we both have an actual first aid box that we got at the store. This one I've had for a couple of years. I upgraded because the other one was tiny, and after you have kids and stuff like that, you just need a bunch of stuff. And of course I have more than what came with the kit, so I always put extra of these in there because, first of all, I'm allergic to adhesive stuff, so these are really handy. Plus, if you want to stop a bleeding or anything, and that's the other thing that's really handy with the extra towels, you can just keep wrapping around. Let's see what else. And I've got some other sterile pads in here. This here is some steri strips. I don't know if any of you know what they are, but let me see. I don't know if I can get a good clear picture there, but these are very thin. So if you have a small cut, you can cut these in half and it will pull your skin together so that you doesn't have to be wide open. Let's see, I have some Q-tips with treatment on it, and we also have Benadryl in here because you never know if you're going to be around something you're allergic to. And generally speaking, in nature I do have some allergies to some herbs and some foods, but for the most part, those seem to be getting better. To keep things on, you have some first aid tape for those who want it. We have small cuts, so if you kind of hurt yourself here, like if you're doing something silly like getting a fire ready and you hit your hand, whatever the case may be, you've got something like that. I picked these up because I found them to be smart. These are liquid Band-Aids. So basically, if you get to a point where it's like you can't get it to stop, you can actually have your partner hold things together and use it like stitches. This is liquid stitches, I guess it's called. It's liquid skin. But basically what it does is it brings things together so you don't keep bleeding. But you need to do your research on how to actually use this. And I've got a lot here to show, so I'm not going to share too much. We have various bandages in here. We do have an inhaler. It looks squashed, but it is a fresh one. So I made sure we had that. And we have an ice pack and some Tums, which I've never had to use Tums. Some more gloves. For those of you who prefer Tylenol, we keep it on there. We keep some things that we may not use, but other people are more comfortable with. So that's why we keep the extras on. Q-tips are always handy. You've got Neosporin, some iodine tincture. We have a variety of things. And tweezers. So let's see what else is in here. But anyways, what I recommend is that you pick up a first aid box to put in your first aid bag. And it does make it easier because when you're in an emergency, you're actually not thinking about which part of your first aid box things are in. I'm falling apart. He'll be in charge of putting it all back together. So what I would recommend is have that first aid box that you might get out wherever you shop for your first aid supplies, at your pharmacy, Walmart, Amazon, whatever your choice is. Just make sure you do that. Now, we also have some other sterile pads. So like if I'm working on something and you don't want to have the dirt that might be around, just spread it out so that it stays clean, but make sure you clean it first. And we'll go into that in a little bit. Let's see, what else do I got in here? If you have to remove something, say you're out there for a while, I strongly recommend some scissors so that we can cut things off. And, okay, now I don't want to shock anybody, but if you're in an emergency situation and your road has gone off your car, he caught me, your car goes off the road and you need to build a fire. Well, you're going to need some tools to get the wood. So I recommend having a hatchet of some sort. And that just to me makes sense because it's important to be able to do that. Sure, you can go and find twigs and stuff like that, but those twigs burn quickly. So it's better if you go and you get some branches that might have fallen. I'm not saying to go cut down a tree. I'm just saying there's usually a lot of branches that might have fallen, most especially if you've gotten in an accident and you went off. It's handy to just cut it down to a size. Use the twigs to start and then get it going. You have any more to add to a fire if you needed one, David?
No, that was too much.
I shared too much. Okay, so in here is an inhaler. I rarely need an inhaler, but what I did was I put it in here. He uses the same kind. So if we're in a situation where we need our nebulizers, this is what we have in there. Now, not everybody needs this. So I find this is what I'm saying is, make sure you pack the items that you yourself use on a daily basis or occasional basis. Let's see what else I can find in here. Thermometer. Oh, you know what I don't have in here is a pad of paper and a pen. Because if somebody is getting sick, you want to record vitals, and having a thermometer is essential. And you're going to find that I have a couple, because you may have somebody who will not open their mouth because of how sick they are, or they're a kid and they don't want to be bothered. So I have both kinds in here. Make sure the batteries are fresh. And the other thing that I've had, and I've had this since I did my nurse assistance training is I have some pocket masks there. So if somebody needs mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, most especially somebody you don't know, you may want to have a barrier between you. And what else? Must have. Whether in your house, in your car, over the hill, or wherever it is that you're going to be, you need a good flashlight. And this one, we did, yeah. These we just made sure all new batteries are in our flashlights.
There's also a setting here that the batteries are not in it. So if we need it, we can put the batteries in and it'll be fresh in case this one, the batteries are dead.
Yep, that makes sense. I mean, you always want to have one that you can pull, but if it's not working because you used it up the night before, whatever. So in this bag, I have these washcloths, and these are those, I can't stand them actually, because they have kind of a little bit of a grip. Can you remember what the name is?
Nope.
Okay, but they're orange, aren't they pretty? When he was talking about that you could tie things to your car, you can tie something like this so that if you're waiting for somebody to find you, you have that. And you want it, whatever you put in your bag, you want it to be multi-purpose. This here is something that you can get wet, clean a wound, clean your face, I put 4 in for each of our first aid bags. So, plus it cleans it, that extra little grip there, it'll come to me as to what kind of these are. These are very handy for cleaning up.
Microfiber.
Microfiber. See, my brain is over here today. So
Boy, are you in trouble.
we've been together too long. We've had a long weekend together. So washcloths, the microfiber, they're great for cleaning, but there's 4 of these, so you can put like up on your
A regular washcloth is fine too.
anything to get attention. And then you can also use this for clothesline if you
have to. Yep.
Plus, remember, our first aid bag is also something we take if we go camping. And we go camping so often, it's been
A while.
we haven't gone camping in a long time. But we keep it because of those type of situations. So in here is my stethoscope. And I bought him one as well because did you get that?
Parts are falling out here.
No, parts are not falling out. Your cuff.
Hey, I don't have one of them.
He's getting jealous. This is so that when I was working in the hospital, I used that because it kept everything in place. But you want to try to have one of these, and if you do not know how to use a stethoscope, learn how to. You could probably find out how to on YouTube. It's just something I was trained in. And
if you buy one, the directions come with it. It tells you how to use it.
yeah. Let's see what else I can find in here.
I'll be right back.
He's leaving me.
Not really.
So I've got some Arnicare gel. This one I don't find that this is good for pain relief because of how much pain I have, but some people have good relief using this, so I keep that in there. And then, now this is kind of an awkward thing, but like if you're trying to absorb and you don't have items that are cloth made and stuff, like ladies' items, you can actually use these type of things to absorb anything. I personally do not like them, but you know what? I had these still, so I just thought, why don't I just keep them in the bag for that emergency? Now, I know a lot of people would not think of that, but if you have extras and you have girls in the family, they are multi-purpose. So what they do is they absorb the blood. I don't like them because I'm kind of a natural girl where I don't like to have chemicals on me, and they have chemicals to absorb stuff, so I feel like it would interfere with what's going on. But in a dire situation, do you think I'm going to stop to think about that? Probably not. And I think that's it for in here. Another thing that I have in here, let's see, I'm going to go over to this pocket over here first. When I worked at the hospital, I was also a surgical tech. So I assisted in some surgical stuff. And one of the things that I did not assist in doing sutures, but I watched, and what I did get myself is a suture kit. Now, would I use this to avoid going in for an emergency if I could get there? Probably not. This is for the ultimate in emergency and you need to do something, but you're going to be going to the hospital. But if you know there's emergency services coming on your way, do whatever you can without doing this if you are not experienced. I just happen to have this on me, and it comes with a practice piece in here so that you can just practice. And for where we go and stuff like that, I'm not too worried, but it gives me everything I could possibly need to do this. It's got all the tools that we had when I was in Surge Tech. Not all the things the doctors have, but things that I can figure out and say, okay, this will do. This here is the piece, I can't get it out of the cloth right now, but it's to help you practice. And it comes with everything cut. So you take the book, I'm going to show you that, and it teaches you how to suture. Now, I'm a seamstress, that helps, but what helps me the most is that I was in the surgical tech and I watched surgeons and others suture people up. But what comes with this is a book that called Suture Like a Surgeon. Again, I am not a doctor, I am not a specialist, I'm just sharing some things that I put in my first aid kit because I think for us and my background, I'm okay doing this. Other people might not feel comfortable doing that. You might find that your military guys will, because that's just something that they might have had to be able to do, especially if they were doing all kinds of stuff. He went and got something for me. He went and got me some paper and a pen.
Sticky notes, actually.
Sticky notes, so that if you have to take vitals, you've got this. All right, I am going to, okay, so that kit needs to go back in here. Oops. What else we got here? Now that's on one side. Now he does not have a suture kit in his, but that's okay. I forgive him.
Ah, the other stuff.
He has other stuff. Okay. Some other things. Now remember, you don't have to have everything that I have put into ours. Okay. We have the thermal things. So if it's in the winter time, we can warm up. I also have some hand sanitizers. This is from Desert Essence. They do all natural products, so it makes me happy. And then, let's see, I have some more of those. Tissues, because somebody's going to be crying. Probably me, no. Now this is a gait belt. There's another one that I have in his, the one that I used as an LNA. But this allows you, let me see if I can. If you have to lift somebody up to help them out, you want to get this around them, around their waist. Actually, you come over here. Let me do this to you. Please. He doesn't like to be a model. So you get this around him. And somebody's going to tell me I'm doing it all wrong. No, this is backwards. It's got to be flipped. Don't tie it so they can't breathe. But if you have to guide them, you have this as a source to help, because they might not have loops.
Well, yeah, if the person
You can sit down.
is down, you can put this belt on them to help them up if you had worked on their arm because they broke their arm or something in a car accident or something like that. You could help them up with this belt where they can't help themselves up.
Right. And it can also be very helpful. I have a bad back and sometimes I can't get back up. So this is something in an emergency situation that you can use to help somebody up to get going. Because you really want people to keep moving. You don't really want them to be down for too long if they can get up. Here, I'm going to have to fix this all up. Now I have 3 more pockets. The front pocket in front, because if I can't find the whistles, I got 2 more whistles in front. I bought a pack and they had a bunch of them, so you never know. And
So
then
you put them in?
I put them in. I got plastic bags, so if you have to put, please don't let this happen. If you have a finger that comes off. You want to be able to capture that you want to bring it in and put it in with some ice. Now, I'm saying things that I do not want to happen to anybody, but you know it happens. So as much as you can, try to always keep in the back of your mind about these things. Now, will you forget? In an emergency situation, it's a 99% chance you're going to forget where your first aid kit is, never mind the bag. But then the whistles, again, you want to, if you come across a place where there's a lot of people down, give them a whistle, put it around their neck, so that if they need attention and they're hurt, they have something to get your attention. Have anything to say on that?
Nope.
This here, I have about 3 rows of these. These are those bandages that stick to each other. They're elastic bandages. And so those are very handy for different things. You use them more than I do.
Sprains and whatnot. Yeah.
And if you are sensitive to elastic and all that kind of stuff, like adhesives and all that, that's me. You want to be able to put that, a towel in between you, because that'll still hold it together and support anything that could go wrong. And you can use those if you have to make a splint just to wrap it around. Let's see what else I have. Oh, in this area too, I have bleed stop, because you may want to do that. I think I forgot to mention that. All right, in here, okay, you're gonna think I'm anal, but that's okay, I don't care. More gloves. The reason is when you're in an emergency, if somebody comes and wants to use your first aid box or bag, as long as you have gloves somewhere, they're going to feel better, because we really don't know what's going on in the world. I put in some Fisherman's Friends lozenges, because not so much for emergency, but if someone's needing to have them for whatever, they got them. I've got a few different ointments here. Hydrocortisone, triple antibiotic, and clometrazole. Now, I make a lot of my own stuff, but like I said earlier, why I like this is, like, say somebody comes for me and I'm out and they see my kit, they can help me because they're familiar with those names. If I put stuff in there that I have made, which I do have, they may not know how to use them, because my comfrey ointment, you don't put on a gushing wound. There's different things, so you kind of have to know how to use those herbal treatments. So I keep some things that some people that might come across and want to help know how to use. This here is a light stick, and I have more. I have like 6 or 8 in each of our bags. Mm-hmm. So in the duffel bags that we have, I did that so if we need light, we have it. But there's one in here. And another knife if we need to. Now, I know you think that I've gone knife crazy. I haven't. This is just something that sometimes you're working on one thing and a particular knife might not work for what you're working on. This is not to cut into somebody. It's not any of that. That is just for emergency. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, I think did I go through this one yet?
Yeah, you did.
I just went through
Just did that.
Let's see what else I got. This here is for fever. This is a natural homeopathic stuff. So this one here is, it helps fever, minor swelling, and colds. So this is what I have. It's sealed. I have not opened it yet. I try to keep a fresh one in here. So that's what that is. That's good for us because we like the natural ones. This here is allergy sensitive. This is hypoallergenic Band-Aids that I picked up. And they came in different kinds. I just stuffed this with all the varieties, so I had options. These work for me, and they actually stay on really well. And they're called Patch. You get 25, there's probably 75 in here, because I think it's such a waste. They put a few in a big container. So these are helpful for those minor cuts and scrapes. A tourniquet. I have not opened this one up. You want to buy an extra one to practice with, because the more you use it, the more it stretches out and stuff. So you want to be able to do a tourniquet if you need to. Say you have bleeding on the arm, you want to get that tourniquet up like you have bleeding down here. Get the tourniquet up so that you don't bleed out. Am I right?
Bucks.
Oh, he's telling me I'm the buck. Now, I told you that I have a suture kit in here. I also have sutures that go with it. So that is why you want, if you're going to do this, you want to have the whole kit. You don't want to have just a little box. You want to have the whole kit to work with. Let's see, one more pocket. Did I miss a pocket?
No.
Okay. All right, in here, you're gonna think I'm weird. I don't really care. Let's see. Poncho. All right, you're out in the woods and you need to start a fire.
I don't know what the first aid kit.
It's in my first aid kit because if this is what's pulled out and you're stuck down the hill and you can't get back up, you have something to start a fire. That's a good question though. So you show how to use this. You end up with a little bit of fiber here. And what you do, you're gonna make me do this?
Is this the flint and steel?
Yeah, it's a flint and steel. I have not used this much because we also have matches and stuff with us. But what if you need this to get a good fire started? I probably shouldn't keep this in there, but you do it because you'll know more than I.
I mean, not really. But
Okay, you gotta show it so they can see, honey. And what you do,
it'll put a little spark, and you do it right up next to that, and this should catch on fire, and then you can put it underneath some leaves or sticks or something, and just keep building to get you fire.
and one thing to keep in mind, you don't need to use this whole piece to get started. You take off a little bit so that you can get the fire started, because otherwise if you have to be there for 2 to 3 days, you're not going to have any left. Okay, another thing while he's putting that back together. These things are, maybe you haven't seen them, but you're out in the woods and you want some privacy because you need to use the bathroom. You need to do something. These here are units that open up and they give you a little bit of privacy. They don't have a name on them. They're called disposable urinal bags, and they are for both men and women and children. I said both. Everybody. So you can use this so that the person has a little bit of privacy. Those big towels, if you can't bring a big towel, you can help the other person have some privacy. And there's also a bag to put them in to keep things clean. Rain ponchos. I have these in the duffel bag. I have them in here. That's just me because I don't know where I'm going to be, what bag I'll have, or if I'll be near the car. These here are just cleansing towels. I also have alcohol ones and a variety of other things. Now I'm going to ask you, David, and if you're watching and you think there's something else that I'm missing, write it down. But I think I've got it covered for what our needs are.
Pretty much.
And like I said, if you're on special medication that your physician has given you and recommended, make sure you bring those if you're going out somewhere. And I mean, he has medication that he might take in the morning, like his inhaler. He might not have it with him on the road. Do you have it at work too?
I have one in the car.
Okay. See, he's already taken care of. It's probably because I nagged him. But if you don't know if where you're going to be, you got a storm coming in, you want to make sure those things are taken care of. Again, our duffel bags have a change of clothes. It has another raincoat. It has warm jackets because if it's raining out, you're going to get cold and you're going to want to change your clothes. So always have at least one set of clothing to change into and make sure they fit you. And
this is about this.
And this is about this video. He's correcting me here.
I'm not trying to.
It's okay. So what else might I have forgotten?
I don't know. Ask them.
So if you have any ideas of what we could add to this, we don't have much room. But anyways, if you have an idea of something that I might not have included. One of my kits does have tweezers and stuff like that. So you may want to have that. You may want to have like suture scissors and stuff like that, which is in my kit. You may want to make sure you have all those things. Gauze, rolls of gauze. I didn't show you a roll of gauze here because I don't have a roll of gauze. I have the patches. So, but if you're more comfortable making sure you have the rolls, that is important to do. Make sure these things are sealed so that they remain sterile. Sterile. And when you do use, say you use just part of it, make sure you have a bag like I showed you. Just put it in that extra bag that you have so that that can stay clean while the other one's there. So if you have to change the dressing and so forth. Now this might not be a big enough bag if we were on a boat of our own. You might need a bigger first aid kit. But hopefully you don't need one at all. So that was my hope to be able to share tonight, is making sure that your car or whatever vehicle you're in is well equipped for emergencies. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you have any ideas, please share them. He's not very verbal.
I don't talk much.
He doesn't talk much. Yes, he does. So, folks, I hope you're enjoying your summer, and I hope that the beginning of fall is enjoyable. Have a great night. God bless. Hey friends, I just wanted to make a new intro to this particular video because I think having a first aid bag is very important in your vehicle as well as in your home. So what I'm going to show you is, yes, we have these bags in our vehicles that are out there, but in our house we have, it's not in a bag like this, but we have first aid in the house as well, because I think it's very important. Maybe you don't agree, maybe you do agree, but it's important to know how to take care of yourself in an emergency. And you know, things happen in the world, and so in order for us to be prepared for whatever might be in front of us, or something that happens, that somebody falls or something like that, you want to have supplies available so that you can help. Now, I'm hoping that many people do desire to help others, but I understand that not everybody does. But my thought was, in sharing what I'm sharing today, is to put in the back of your mind of things that you might need to do, because right now, from my understanding, if you go to the emergency room, you could be waiting 6 to 8 hours. Quite honestly, if I have to take my glasses off, I'm getting a glare. Quite honestly, I don't want to be sitting in an emergency room for that long, and most especially if it's something I can take care of. And that brings me to the other point. If it's something that you can take care of, that you're not bleeding all out, you're not having a heart attack, anything that is to the point where you can't take care of until the doctor's office opens. And I do realize a lot of us do not have primary care docs, or we might have them, but sometimes some of those docs don't have any hours on the weekend. But you want to be prepared. And it's just common sense. It doesn't mean you can't go to the ER, because I think if it's an emergency, you should make sure you get there. So that's what this is about. It's about taking care of yourself and being accountable and being on the ready. Great. Folks, have a great night, and please take care of yourself. God bless.